So good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Okay. So we will revise chapter nationalism and we will go with the chronology. Be responsive. We will do it in questionnaire form, the whole chronology for this chapter and important points. So first of all, tell me in which year India's first freedom struggle took place. It was the year 1857. Who composed Vande Mataram?
अवेंद्र नहीं बंकिम चंद्र चट्टोपाध्याय.
Yes, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay in the year 1870 composed Vande Mataram. Congress was formed in the year 1885. It was presided by whom? The first session of Congress was presided by whom?
उमेश चंद्र बनर्जी.
Ramesh Chandra Banerjee. In the year 1905, division of Bengal happened under which governor? Yes, everyone.
लॉर्ड कुर्जन.
Lord Curzon. Who made the portrait of Bharat Mata? It was Abanindranath Tagore. In the year 1906, Muslim League was established. Who were the leaders who established Muslim leagues?
आगा आगा खान and Nawab of Dhaka.
Yes, Aga Khan and Nawab Salimullah. Then in the year 1907, Congress was divided into extremists and moderates. This session of Congress is famously known for Surat split. That is, this session happened at the Surat where extremists and moderates divided. In the year 1911, Delhi Darbar was organized. So Delhi Darbar, what what are the most important things that happened during Delhi Darbar? First, the division of Bengal was annulled or division of Bengal was abolished. That is, Bengal will not be divided. In which year Bengal was divided? Declared that Bengal is to be divided. We have discussed just now.
Could you repeat the question?
In which year the Lord Curzon proposed the division of Bengal?
1905.
1905. And the year in 1911, the division of Bengal was abolished at Delhi Darbar. Another important thing that took place at Delhi Darbar was anyone?
The transfer of capital from Calcutta to
Yes,
Delhi.
Kolkata to Delhi. Now, new capital of India will be Delhi, not Kolkata. First World War started in which year?
Ma'am,
First World War, yes,
1914.
1914. Mahatma Gandhi returned to India in which year?
1915.
1915. Champaran Satyagraha was in protest of against which type of crop plantation? What was the
Indigo.
crop? Yes,
Indigo.
indigo. The Champaran Satyagraha took place in which year? Very important. 1917.
17.
So Mahatma Gandhi started Champaran Satyagraha in protest of indigo plantation in the year 1970. Another movement, Kheda Satyagraha, also took place in the year 1970. Then in the year 1918, World War II ended and Rowlatt Act was passed in the year 19,
1921.
yes, no, 1919 only. Because remember this with this way that after Rowlatt Act only, against the Rowlatt Act, there were protests all over India. And then only, the martial rule was applied in the Punjab. And result of that only, in the year 1919, on 13th April, a major incident took place in India, and that is, yes, it is Jallianwala Bagh massacre. Then in 1919, Khilafat movement was started by Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. So Khilafat movement also started in the year 1919 by Muhammad Ali and Shaukat Ali. In which year non-cooperation movement was started?
1923.
1920.
2.
In 1922, the non-cooperation movement was withdrawn due to a violent incident. Where did this violent incident took place?
Chori Chora incident.
Yes, Chori Chora. Chori Chora is the place where this incident took place. It is a village. And in response to this, Mahatma Gandhi withdrew the non-cooperation movement in the year 1920. Then in 1925, Kakuri loot was, it happened, it was the loot of the train carrying English treasure in the year 1925 by the revolutionaries. Then Simon Commission came to India in which year?
1920.
1928.
28.
Very good. And there was a famous leader who was killed during the protest of the Simon Commission. Protest
Lal
against the Simon.
Patrao.
Yes. Lala, Ra, Lala Lajpat Rai. He
Maman is
was,
sharing the screen.
yes,
Mom, we
No.
can't see.
okay. Thank you for telling. Yes. So we have discussed this chronology. Then next, 1928 Simon Commission came to India. Lala Lajpat Rai was killed while protesting against Simon Commission. Then in the year 1929, two famous revolutionaries threw,
Bhagat Bhagat Singh Bhatkeshwar.
yes, threw bomb at Legislative Assembly, and they were Bhagat Singh and Batukeshwar Dutt. So Salt March took place in which year?
1930.
1930. From which place to which place?
Sabarmati Ashram to Dandi.
Sabarmati to Dandi. There can be exact date. If there is exact date in the exam in options, it will be from 12th March 1930 to 6th April 1930. So with Dandi March, very famous movement was started in India by Mahatma Gandhi. What was that movement?
Civil disobedience.
Yes, it was civil disobedience movement. In which year and what date Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru were hanged by the Britishers? Date and year. Indian government commemorates this day as Martyr Day
1932.
1. Okay.
Mm.
On 23rd March 1931, three revolutionaries, Bhagat Singh, Sukhdev, and Rajguru, they were hanged by the Britishers. In the year 1931, Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed, and as a result of this, which movement was suspended? There is civil disobedience. Yes, very good. Civil disobedience movement is going on. So this movement was suspended after Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Remember this clearly. You can, in exam, you will be getting options like non-cooperation, Champaran Satyagraha, civil disobedience. So you may get confused. So with year, you can remember that Gandhi-Irwin Pact was signed in the year 1931, and during this time, the civil disobedience movement was in action. So this is the movement that was suspended as the result of Gandhi-Irwin Pact. Mahatma Gandhi participated in which round table conference? There were three roundtable conferences, first, second, and third. In which roundtable conference Mahatma Gandhi participated? It was second round table conference. So in 1932, Pune Pact was signed between two leaders. Who were they? Yes, anyone? Pune Pact.
It was signed, ma'am, between Ambedkar and Gandhi, ma'am.
Yes, between
Uh,
Mahatma Gandhi and
Ambe-
Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. Very good. So this Pune Pact was signed that the scheduled castes will not be given separate electorates. Instead, they will be given reservation. So what was the award that gave separate electorate to the scheduled caste?
could you
That
repeat the
was,
question?
yes, communal award. This gave separate electorates to scheduled castes. So this was not liked by Mahatma Gandhi, and went on fast that this step will make a separate section in the Indian society of the scheduled caste and will not let it involve in the Indian society. So he said, instead of giving separate electorates, we should give only reservation to the scheduled caste. So Pune Pact was signed between Mahatma Gandhi and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, where reservation was increased for the scheduled caste instead of giving them separate electorates. Now, World War II was started in which year? It started in the year 1939. In the year 19, yes, you'll tell me in which year Quit India movement was started.
1942.
1942. Very good. So there was this Quit India movement was started by Mahatma Gandhi. He gave a famous slogan during Quit India movement. What was that?
Do or die.
Yes. Slogan Do or Die was given by Mahatma Gandhi. So you can remember this that it's been time since Mahatma Gandhi and other leaders have been working to get powers in the hands of the Indian people. So by this time, in the year 1942, Mahatma Gandhi has said that now is the time that we need to get powers in the hand of Indian people. So do or die situation has come for us. So now at this point, he gave this slogan. So remember this during later phase of the freedom struggle in the year 1942 when Quit India movement. During Quit India movement, do or die slogan was given by Mahatma Gandhi. In which year cabinet mission came to India? Cabinet mission that gave the proposal of Constituent Assembly, that Indians can form their Constituent Assembly to frame their own constitution. This proposal was given by Cabinet Mission. Cabinet Mission came in the year 1946, and in the year 1947, India got independence. Now, important definitions. What do you mean by nationalism?
Ma'am, the love towards one's country.
Yes, the feeling of oneness, that all the people of our country, they belong to our country, the feeling of oneness, that we all are Indians. That is nationalism. So it is a feeling of oneness and common consciousness that among the people who are living in a common territory, they share historical, political, and cultural backgrounds. People may be speaking different languages, as in case of India, but for the love of their nation keeps them together. So if any question on nationalism comes, start your question with the definition of nationalism. So what was the factor of rise of nationalism in India?
Colonial misrule.
Yes.
Then
What was happening in the world at that time?
World War One.
So also there were other anti-colonial movements in the neighboring countries.
And government persecution of like vernacular language
Yes,
and
that you
imposition
can
of their.
write. That you can write all those points. You can write under colonial misrule. They will help enrich your answer. You can write the heading as colonial misrule led to the rise of nationalism. For example, vernacular press act.
Okay.
Right? There you can write with examples. It will
Uh,
help enrich your answer.
and ma'am,
Yes?
Rowlatt Act also.
Yes. All of these incidents, most of the incidents are negative for India only. So you can frame all those incidents. Then, was there rise of middle class, intelli? There were people like Mahatma Gandhi or even Jawaharlal Nehru, all these people who studied different fields and they were aware of their rights. They became aware of their rights when they went outside India and saw that in Europe, how nation works. They got to know that how nation works and what is happening in India is unjust to the people of India. So they got aware about their rights, and all of this led to the rise of nationalism. Okay, then what do you mean by satyagraha?
Ma'am, once can you show the before page?
Okay, I'm writing in short points only because you can revise this just before exam if you want to go through this chapter.
Yes, ma'am.
Elaborate the point in your answers, and in this chapter you have so many examples. If you are writing about middle class intelligentsia that they studied from abroad, so you can write examples of Mahatma Gandhi, or you can also say that many B.R. Ambedkar also visited foreign countries for studying. So all of these people, how they became aware. Then, what do you mean by satyagraha?
Asking for truth.
Yes. So this is a mode of struggle. They are struggling. For example, Indians want to fight against the British rule, but their fight was based on two most important things: that they will always stand for the truth, plus they will always be non-violent during their struggle. So the new mode of struggle, which was based in truth and non-violence. So these are the two important things that you have to mention in your answer. Whenever satyagraha is mentioned, you have to say that it is a struggle based on truth and non-violence. So according to Mahatma Gandhi, what satyagraha was? He said it is a method of satyagraha was based on the idea that if someone is fighting for true cause, there is no need to use any physical force or any weapon. He believed satyagrahi could win a battle through non-violence. So in your answer, you can quote that Gandhiji said or Mahatma Gandhi said that Satyagrahi could win a battle through non-violence. You can conclude your answer with this or you can start your answer with this. That Gandhi believed that Satyagrahi is a form of struggle where a Satyagrahi could win a battle without using any form of violence, without being aggressive or without being revengeful. So, what are the examples of Satyagraha movement that you will give in your answer?
Non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement.
Uh, yes. What
Then
are the early
Champaran
movements?
Satyagraha,
Yes,
Kheda
very good.
Satyagraha,
All of
Ahmedabad
this.
Mill Satyagraha,
Yes. Ahmedabad mill strike. Yes.
then Nationwide Satyagraha against Rowlatt Act, that is
Yes.
non-cooperation.
So all these examples also you have to mention in exam that you know about which non-violent movement that Mahatma Gandhi initiated. Then you can even if you know about these in movements, you must know about these movements a little bit in detail. That it started in this year and this was the main issue. So you can elaborate about that also according to the number of the amount of marks allotted to that question. So there can be a question also that give detail about some early Satyagrahi movements organized by Gandhi. So then you will mention Champaran, Kheda, and the mill workers movement in Ahmedabad and mention their years also. So what is the provision of Rowlatt Act that was not liked by Indians and led to protest against this act?
Ma'am, it gave the power, say it gave the government the power to arrest anyone protesting
Yes,
against them without any trial or
For two
jury.
years.
very good. Very good. Very good. So it allowed detention or arrest of
Mhm.
political protesters without trial. That they won't even give them chance to speak that why were they protesting and for what time period? For 2 years. For 2 years, you can be put into jail, straight into jail without any questionnaire as per the 1919 Rowlatt Act. So this was done to repress. What was its aim? It wanted to repress the political activities which were emerging in India. After arrival of Mahatma Gandhi, there were many political activities that emerged in India. So they wanted to repress them. So this was attack on the civil liberties of Indians. Despite the opposition, there were some Indian members also who wanted that this act should not be passed. But this act still passed and it was a attack on civil liberties of Indians. So what was the consequence of Rowlatt Act?
Non-cooperation movement.
Yes. So what was done that all India Hartal was planned by Mahatma Gandhi, but what happened was there were some non-violent incidences, and in the year 1919 itself, Jallianwala Bagh massacre also happened. So a nationwide satyagraha was launched against the proposed Rowlatt Act. People came out in support of Mahatma Gandhi in huge number, and what did they do? Shops were shut. Workers also went on strike. Then remember this Jallianwala Bagh incident took place. Shops were shut. Workers went on strike. Who was the general related to the Jallianwala Bagh massacre? General Dyer, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
So what do you know about Khilafat issue?
Ma'am, after the Ottoman Empire was capitulated, no, ma'am, by the
Yes,
British Empire, then then the Muslims felt betrayed and they wanted to restore the Ottoman Sultan to its former position as the Khalifa.
very good.
Okay, there's uh, then in India there were two brothers. Then there were the Ali brothers who
Yes,
started the Khilafat movement against the British and for the restoration of the Sultan and
very good. Yes. So
and then
the Khilafat issue was the
Ga-
issue which gave opportunity to bring Hindus and Muslims together. This was also the very important point. Hindus and Muslims came together as a result of these issue. Because what happened? The Ottoman Empire was defeated in the First World War. So it was heard that the Ottoman Emperor, who was the spiritual head of Islamic world, he was to be removed. So this upset the Muslim of India. So Mahatma Gandhi saw an opportunity, said this time when Jallianwala Bagh massacre has happened, also this Khilafat issue has arisen. So why not bring both the issues together and both the communities together and fight against the British? So Khilafat movement was started. A Khilafat committee was formed in Bombay. Then in year 1920, to combine all these issues, what are the issues? These can be asked in this form. What are the issues that led to the non-cooperation movement? As a result of all these issues and atrocities of British, what happened in the year 1920? Non-cooperation movement was launched, which supported Khilafat movement as well as the Swaraj movement. So, who wrote the famous book Hind Swaraj?
Gandhi ji.
Mahatma Gandhi. So, in short, if we write, what are the reasons? This is very important. Reasons for non-cooperation movement. In short, I am writing. You can elaborate these points in the exam. First, atrocities done to the Indians or atrocities on Indians after World War One. Second, Britishers refused demand of Swaraj. Then third, Rowlatt Act. Rowlatt Act was major contention point. Then Jallianwala Bagh massacre. As a result, Congress passed the non-cooperation movement. These 4 points need to be mentioned, and then you can elaborate upon them. That what was the thing in the Rowlatt Act, what happened during Jallianwala Bagh massacre, and what were the incidences after the World War One in India. So, what was proposals non-cooperation movement? That is what government said to people to do during non-cooperation movement. How can people non-cooperate? First, surrender the titles. Surrender titles which were awarded to the Indians by the British government. Surrender your titles. Then boycott army, police, schools, even legislative council. They also said very important that boycott foreign goods. So these were three important things that were done during non-cooperation movement. Then what do you mean by Swaraj? Swaraj means freedom or self-rule. Then you know that in the year 1922, a movement was withdrawn by Gandhiji due to Chori Chora incident. What was the issue with the Simon Commission? Where we gave the slogan, Simon Go Back. So Simon Commission was all white commission. That is No Indian members were there in this commission. This commission was made to look into the functioning of the constitutional system in India. But this was very disrespectful to Indians that not a single Indian was put into this commission. That is, Indians were not there in the commission to frame constitution for India. So this upset the Indians. As a result, 1930 also, Salt March happened. That is Dandi March. In Dandi March, there were 78 volunteers initially at Sabarmati and later joined by many. So why was breaking the salt law was chosen as the uh, movement for starting the civil disobedience movement? Anyone?
Common for everyone.
Yes, because salt is consumed by
And
everyone, both poor as well as rich. Yes,
ma'am, the British had put their monopoly over the salt, no ma'am. So
yes,
and this affected the business, trade and business, ma'am. So they would want to break it, ma'am.
very good. So there was complete monopoly on the production of salt. Production of salt by British government. So if tax was put on salt, it hit both rich and poor, and especially the poor. So Gandhiji thought that it was one of the most repressive act of the British government, hence to defy or break the salt law. Then who participated in civil disobedience movement? So there were participation of rich peasants as they were against high revenue, poor peasants also because they were high rent of the land, then business class also because they were against colonial business policies, and very important, women. Women participated during civil disobedience movement. Workers also participated. So as a reaction to this, the British government started arresting Congress leaders one by one. There was brutal repression, and even peaceful satyagrahis were attacked. Women and children were beaten. So, if we see the civil disobedience movement, if there is question regarding civil disobedience movement, we can write about its participants as well as what is the main incidences. The Salt March, breaking salt law, foreign clothes boycotted, liquor shops picketed, peasants refused to pay tax. So how non-cooperation movement and civil disobedience movement are different? In non-cooperation movement, it was said to people that don't cooperate with people, with the government, that refuse cooperation with the government. While in the civil disobedience movement, it was said that break the colonial laws. Now you will break the laws instead of just non-cooperating. So if you are asked about role of women in civil disobedience movement, that women participation was in large scale. How? First characteristic that women participated on large scale. They participated in the protest marches. The marches for manufacturing salt. What else they do? They picketed foreign clothes and liquor shops. So wherever they saw, the women saw foreign clothes shop or liquor shops, they encircled around that shop, and in this way they protested. So after this movement, women also started seeing serving to the nation as their duty. What were the limitations of civil disobedience movement? Anyone?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
What are the limitations of civil disobedience movement?
Ma'am, many would not join, ma'am, because as the non-cooperation was abruptly no.
Yes. Wait a minute. You put the correct point. In non-cooperation movement, there were Hindus as well as Muslims. But in case of civil disobedience movement, the response of the Muslim political organization was very weak or lukewarm. Lukewarm means not very enthusiastic participation of Muslim political organizations. Then what happened? Dalits also participated in less number because Congress was continuously ignoring their demands of scheduled castes. There was atmosphere of distrust between Hindu and Muslim community during civil disobedience movement, as well as Dalits were not able to participate in large amount. So, what were the incidences that you can recall where sense of collective belonging? If there is any question that how Indians developed this sense of collective belonging through various activities during the Indian freedom struggle. So first was image of Bharat Mata, which was by Bankim Chandra. This image helped people in identifying the nation. They started visualizing the nation that there is a country, India, and we have to get it freed from the British rule. Then next is folklore, which presented the true culture and discovers the national identity, and it helped Indians to reuse the pride in the past. Then some icons and symbols. For example, tricolor flag, which emerged during Swadeshi movement. So this tricolor flag is being used since Swadeshi movement. Then songs like Vande Mataram, which is written by Bankim Chandra, a song for the motherland, and it was widely sung during Swadeshi movement. So all of these examples you can give where the sense of collective belonging was put into the minds of Indians. Is it clear? Is there any doubt in any
No,
part?
ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So just revise these pointers and you just give heading as these pointers and elaborate about them in the points below. You will fetch good marks. Okay. Then agriculture. Let us discuss about agriculture. This also can fetch you good marks in exam. We will revise it in form of questionnaire, okay? So Someone, please tell me feature of intensive subsistence farming. What are the features of intensive subsistence farming? Anyone? There are three features of intensive subsistence farming. It is labor intensive farming, that is, good amount of labor is needed. We also use high doses of biochemical inputs, as well as irrigation is also done for higher production. It is practiced in high densely high density population area. So if you are asked about feature of intensive subsistence farming, you can write this. So if there is any question asked, any form of this question can be asked in any form of language, that what did Indian government, or what has been done for development of Indian agriculture. Can you give me any points? Anyone? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So can you think of any, let's say, start from any schemes for farmers, right? You can write this in exam that there are some schemes for farmers or programs which are which to help the farmers. For example, PM Kisan. You can give example of these type of schemes. This is a PYQ. Again and again, CBSE is asking this question in different form of language. Okay. Then what else government do? That to provide loans to farmers at low interest rate. Then third, very important, crop insurance. That is, if in any case, in case of disease, fire or cyclone or flood, if crop fails, then the crop is insured and the farmer will get the money for the crop. This intensive subsistence farming and this type of question is again being asked in exams again and again. So prepare some schemes, then that to provide loans to farmers at low rates, then crop insurance. These 3 points you can write. Okay. So what is झूमिंग? Anyone? Is this chapter in your syllabus?
Ma'am,
Yes. Is it or not? Yes, Aryan. Is this chapter in your syllabus?
yes, ma'am.
So why aren't you responding? Anyone? Siddhi?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Can you tell me what is झूमिंग? It is a primitive subsistence agriculture practice, also known as shifting cultivation. This is also being asked in exams again and again. Shifting cultivation has different names. For example, it is known as झूमिंग in Northeast India.
Excuse me, ma'am. Ma'am, till when is
Yes,
this class, ma'am?
it is till 8:30. So it is also known as slash and burn agriculture. So in exam, you can be asked in any form, whether it can be written as झूमिंग, shifting cultivation, and slash and burn agriculture. I'm telling very important questions which are being repeated again and again in exams. Okay. So this slash and burn agriculture is known as बेवार in state of Madhya Pradesh. Remember these, very important. It is known as Penda in Andhra Pradesh. Then it is known as Pama Dabi in Odisha. Then Kuruva in Rajasthan. झूमिंग in Assam, Kuruva in Rajasthan. Then Valre in it is known as Kuruva in Jharkhand. Sorry, Kuruva in Jharkhand. It is known as Deepa in state of Chhattisgarh. This question can come as match the following. So can anyone repeat these names? In what state they are known as? This is the practice of slash and burn agriculture, which is known by different names in different states. Yes, Rithi? So learn these practices. These can be asked in any form in the examination. You can also be asked to write the features of commercial farming. So commercial farming has following features. First, most of the produce which is sold in the market to earn money. Farmer is producing some crop in the field and it is sold in the market to earn money instead of consuming themselves. So most of the produce. Can anyone tell me another feature of commercial farming?
Cash crop.
Cash crops like
Cereals,
cotton,
pulses.
yes, sugarcane. All of these are grown in under the commercial farming. That is, the farmer is not going to consume whole cotton on its own, whole sugarcane field on its own. Instead, they are going to sell it in the market. So these kind of crops you can give example under cash crops or these are grown under commercial farming. Then in commercial farming, what we do, the farmers use inputs like chemical fertilizers because the main aim of the farmer is to produce more and more crops. So they start using fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, even high yield variety seeds and methods of irrigation. All of this done so that good amount of produce can be done in field. If there is any question regarding that Indian agriculture is backbone of Indian economy. How will you prove this or explain this point? Yes? Why Indian agriculture is called the backbone of the Indian economy? Because it is the main occupation of majority of people in India. That is, it provides employment. It gives job to large population of India. Then another important thing is all the other industries, manufacturing industries are dependent upon the agriculture sector for raw materials. So this is agriculture provides raw materials to manufacturing sector. Hence, it also supports agriculture. This way supports industrial development. Then, if agriculture is good, all people in our country can get food. So, agriculture also ensures food security by providing food grains to the large population of India. This way, it is the main source for our country's GDP. Even contribution in export sector. There are many crops or grains that we export to the outside country. Export earns foreign exchange. Agriculture also helps in eradication or removal of poverty by providing job and food to the poor section of the society, especially in the rural areas. So the overall point, if we say how Indian agriculture becomes backbone of the Indian economy by providing employment to large population, by providing raw materials for the manufacturing sector and aid in boosting the industrial development. It also ensures food security in the country. It contributes greatly to the GDP. It helps in growth of export sector and eradication of poverty. So, Rithi,
Yes, ma'am.
so can you tell me how agriculture helps in as backbone of the Indian economy? Points that we discussed.
Provide employment and
Yes,
raw material,
yes,
food security,
yes, and GDP growth.
GDP. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, someone was speaking. Is there any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Okay. So these in exam, if you remember 3 or 4 points, write them and then elaborate them. So this is a question that I will give characteristics of a crop. You have to tell me which crop is this. First, it is a food crop used by majority of people in India. It is eaten by majority of people in India. India is second largest producer of this crop. It is a kharif crop that is grown during summers. It requires rainfall of around 100 centimeter annual rainfall. I'll give you options. What can be the answer?
Wheat.
Wheat is a kharif crop. Is wheat a kharif crop? Wheat is a rabi crop. So wheat cannot be the answer, okay? Try again.
Ma'am, ragi.
No. Is ragi a food crop which is eaten by majority of people in India?
No, ma'am.
No.
Ma'am, rice.
Rice. Rice is eaten by majority of population in India. India is the second largest producer of rice. Rice is also a kharif crop and it requires rainfall of around 100 centimeter during its growth. Therefore, it is grown in those regions only. So this way you can get questions. Okay. Now tell me, this is second most important cereal crop. This is a cereal crop. Second, this is example of a rabi crop. Third, it requires bright sunshine during ripening. It requires 50 to 75 centimeter rainfall. I'm giving you options. Which crop it can be? You can eliminate rice, right? It is a kharif crop. We have seen. Is sugarcane a cereal crop? Yes, anyone? We are trying to reach the answer. Sugarcane is not a cereal crop, so this also eliminated. And it is the second most important cereal crop. So out of this, we can choose the correct answer, wheat. It is a cereal crop, rabi crop. It is very important feature for wheat crop that it requires bright sunshine during ripening. And it requires rainfall of around 50 to 75 centimeter. We have heard about commercial farming. Now let us discuss some features of primitive subsistence farming. So this is a type of farming where farmer and his family raise crops for home consumption. That is, whatever the crops they are growing in their field, they will use for their own consumption and they will not trade that in the market. So, what are the inputs that they use? So, they do not use chemical fertilizers or insecticides or pesticides in primitive subsistence farming. They totally depend on monsoon for irrigation as well as natural fertility of soil. Whatever the fertility of soil is, they will depend on that only for growing crops in primitive subsistence farming. It is done on small areas of land because whatever the farmer and his family is consuming, it can be small in amount only. So from that you can conclude that this type of farming is done in small areas of land. It is its other forms like slash and burn farm agriculture is practiced in some parts of India where farmers will clear a patch of land by burning it and then produce crops for their sustenance until the time the soil is fertile. After that, when the soil is not fertile anymore, they will leave that land and they will find a new place, a new forest place, and again will burn that place and grow new crops. And that is slash and burn agriculture. In this type of farming, land productivity is very low because we are not using any fertilizers. Therefore, the fertility of the land is not that great. The crop failures chances are more. So, therefore, there is low productivity in primitive subsistence farming. So, if we see overall, we have studied about primitive subsistence farming. That is, this is done for home consumption. It is based on natural fertility of soil and for irrigation, it depends on monsoon. It is done on small areas of land. Slash and burn agriculture is also primitive subsistence farming. In this farming, productivity is very low because we don't use any fertilizers. Then we see how question on types of crop can be asked. Then how Indian agriculture is born of Indian economy. Then some points about commercial farming. And then we discuss slash and burn agriculture's name in different states in India. So is there any doubt? Anyone? We will end the class. If there is any doubt, you can tell me. So, okay, thank you everyone. Take rest and revise the class notes, okay? The notes that you have with you, revise them again and again so that you can remember the points in the exam. Thank you everyone. I'm ending the class.